Jake was my boyfriend of 6 years when he asked for an open relationship. He said it calmly, standing in our living room, like he wasn't tearing our life in half. That was the moment everything I thought was safe stopped being real. The room didn't feel like home anymore. It felt smaller, tighter, like the walls were listening. I stared at him, trying to understand how the man I'd grown up with could sound so reasonable while destroying us. He paced across the rug, back and forth, wearing his footsteps into the floor. His fingers dragged through his hair over and over. He wouldn't look at me. An open relationship. The words sat there, ugly and impossible, like he'd suggested inviting a stranger into our bed and calling it progress. We'd been kids when we started, high school kids with bad decisions and big promises. I watched him change, watched him become someone people respected, trusted. And now he was explaining why loyalty suddenly had an expiration date. He talked like he'd practiced it, like this was a presentation. He said it could make us stronger, but his eyes kept sliding away from mine. Ceiling, window, floor. Anywhere but the damage he was doing. Stronger. We shared a home. We shared a bed. Just last night, everything between us had felt normal, familiar, safe. I replayed that memory while he spoke, wondering how something could shatter so completely without a single sound. I slowed my voice and repeated his idea back to him, just to hear how insane it sounded. Permission to sleep with other people. Still call us a couple. Still come home to me. He rushed to explain, insisted it wouldn't be betrayal if we both agreed. He called it freedom. I laughed. The sound came out hollow, like it had passed through something broken first. I told him he wanted everything without sacrifice. I asked if he was bored. He stopped pacing long enough to tell me he loved me, said he always had. Then he asked if I'd never wondered what it might be like with someone else, since it had only ever been us. I told him the truth. I hadn't wondered. I'd made a promise. I meant it. He asked me to consider it anyway. That was when something sharp settled in my chest. I turned the idea back on him, just enough to expose the rules he hadn't said out loud. His reaction was instant, absolute, furious. Suddenly there were boundaries again, but only for me. The silence that followed was heavy. He tried again, softer this time. Said it could be discreet. Just sex, no feelings, no one would get hurt. That was when something solid inside me finally turned to dust. I told him I thought what we had was permanent. He said love wasn't a cage. I nodded. Once. Calm. Final. I agreed. Not because I wanted to, not because I believed him, but because I was done begging someone to choose me. When he realized I meant it, his voice changed. He tried to slow things down, tried to take the words back. But I was already moving. I walked past him and into our bedroom, opened the closet, chose the red dress he always complained about, the one that didn't apologize. I slipped into heels that changed the way I stood, the way I breathed. In the mirror, my heart hit hard once. Then anger took over. Cold, clear, useful. If he wanted new rules, I would teach him how they worked. I showered slowly, letting the heat fog the glass while I scrubbed hesitation away. I dressed with intention. Dark eyes, red lips. The woman staring back at me looked finished with explaining herself. I told her she was enough. When I grabbed my purse and headed for the door, Jake asked where I was going. He sounded lost, smaller than I'd ever heard him. I turned back just long enough to say one thing. "You built this, Jake. Now you get to live in it." I was out the door before he could answer. The night air felt sharp against my skin as I called my sister. Music and laughter spilled through the line. I told her I needed her, told her it was bad. She warned me about where I was headed, said it wasn't safe. I told her I could handle myself. I always had. By the time the car stopped, the base was already in my bones. Firelight glowed against chain-link fencing. A man stood guard at the gate, watching me like I belonged to the danger behind him. I gave a name. The gate opened. I stopped at the door, drew in one deep breath, and stepped forward. Into the noise, into the fire, into whatever I was becoming. Subscribe! This story doesn't end here. You'll be notified when the next chapter drops.